Yeah. Ashish ji, we should wait for people to join, or should we
No,
start?
yeah, they have already joined, sir. We are live. You kindly start, sir.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I welcome dignitaries who have joined virtually. Our today's speaker, R.K. Gaur sir, Central Council member Chandrasekhar Chitay sir, Ashish ji, and all the participants who have joined virtually for this seminar organized by webinar organized by Ethical Standards Board on Advertisement and Solicitation. Uh, Friends, it's very important that today when we are competing with professionals from other areas, that we need to understand how can we, it's not question about advertisement, but in which areas can we do advertisement, if any, and how to really solicit clients from newer areas as well. So the objective of this webinar is to have a discussion on that, and we have eminent speaker R.K. Gaur sir with us. But prior to that, I would request Chitay sir to give opening remarks. But before that, a brief profile about Chandrasekhar Chitay sir. Currently, he is the chairman of Ethical Standards Board for the year 2025-26. Chitay sir is a distinguished chartered accountant and senior partner at CV Chitay and Company. He is a member of the Central Council of ICI since 2019. For the year 25-26, he has been appointed as the chairman of this Ethical Standards Board and the Board of Internal Audit and Management Accounting. And he is also vice chairman of Committee on International Taxation. He has previously served as chairman of Direct Tax Committee and the Peer Review Board for the year 2022-23. Beyond ICI, he has contributed extensively to industry bodies, having being treasurer of MCCIA for a decade and currently serving as chairman of its Direct Tax Committee and member of its Executive Committee. He was also nominated to the Cost Accounting Standards Board of ICMA and has held leadership roles such as chairman of the Pune branch of ICI. An academic at heart, C.A. Chitay sir has lectured at various commerce colleges and management institutes and authored several articles in reputed publications like Taxman, Economic Times, Times of India, and other publications. His notable authored works include User Guide on Tax Audit, VDIS, and Service Tax for Professionals, with his writings earnings awards such as the Best Article Prize in the PCA's journal. He has specialized in direct taxes, drafting and conveyancing, and corporate counseling. Chitay sir has delivered numerous lectures at seminars, conferences, and public forums, including the prestigious Vasant Mala, reflecting his deep commitment to professional education and public engagement. I request Chitay sir to give opening remarks for this session. Over to you, Chitay sir.
Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen who have joined this seminar, and also on board faculty R.K. Gaur, my colleague in Pune Managing Committee, CA Sachin Maniyar, and Secretary Ashish. Ethical Standards Board has started this series of webinars on various topics relevant to the ethics. As we are aware that the ethics distinguish the professionals from those who are not professionals, so that itself is a salient feature for the purpose of stakeholders to engage chartered accountants as opposed to others. But then, as far as our periphery is concerned, the profession is governed by the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, the regulations made thereunder, and then in order to afford quality, integrity, honesty, and confidentiality, the Code of Ethics have been enacted. Whatever has been enacted in Code of Ethics is within the four corners of the Act and the regulations. Now, as far as the CA Act is concerned, there is embargo on solicitation and advertisement. So it is not that you have to select a field and there you can do, there you cannot do. Only thing is that this Act itself applies to the whole of India. Therefore, whatever you do outside India may not be governed under this particular Act. So if you go to South Africa, if you go to USA and solicit, then this act is not applicable. That is what I understand. Of course, within the elbow room given by the act and regulation, one needs to understand what are the confines of his professional attainment, engaging with clients from the perspective of solicitation, from the perspective of advertisement. When we say that there is embargo on these two activities, if a chartered accountant in practice writes to another chartered accountant soliciting the work, that is not considered as solicitation, because within the professionals, we can certainly ask for the work, we can give the work. So that is possible. But beyond that, there are certain restrictions. And it is necessary for those who are practicing to understand what are those confines, to what extent they can go. To an extent, the Act also prescribes that as the guideline is provided by the Ethical Standards Board, he can do the advertisement. But then some guidelines have been framed. Now, today you will understand those guidelines. If you feel that those guidelines are restrictive and they need certain amendments, or in any other area you feel that the areas are restrictive and opening up is warranted with work of the modern times, your suggestions are welcome. I am sure the faculty has delivered several lectures on this topic, and therefore you will be able to appreciate the nuances of this particular topic and understand how to practice going forward, how to be within the four corners of law and yet be a successful practitioner. Of course, as I said earlier, beside that, if you feel that there are certain amendments which are can be made, maybe for the act also we are proposing amendment that maybe in the fields, as Sachin said, where we are competing with other professionals and where there is no embargo on other professionals to solicit, maybe we'll be seeking government approval to allow us to do so. Attest is the exclusive area for chartered accountants, so there we are not seeking. But the area which is like accounting, like management consultancy, information technology, where others are also in the field and where there is no embargo on them, maybe we'll propose the government. There is meeting of ethical standards board, so certain changes in act in due course will be tabled, and after they are duly passed by the council, they will go to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs for doing the needful. So friends, it's my indeed my pleasure to welcome you for this particular very important webinar on a topic which is dear to everybody's hearts. So thank you and best wishes.
Thank you, Chitay sir. Friends, indeed, it's my pleasure to give introduction regarding our today's speaker, CA R.K. Gaur. He is a fellow chartered accountant of our chartered accountant member of our institute, and he has also done his LLM and MA in economics, as well as he has completed few our certificate courses as well. He is the managing partner of Gaur and Associate Chartered Accountants since establishment in the year 1986. With over 40 years of experience, his expertise is underpinned by first division postgraduate degrees in economics, law, alongside specialized ICAI certifications in DISA, FAFD, GST, and concurrent audits of banks. Sir's core practice area are direct and international taxation, marked by extensive experience representing clients before various appellate authorities like DRP, AAR, ITAT. He is also recognized speaker on direct tax matters. Deeply committed to his professional development, Mr. Gaur has held significant leadership roles within the Northern Indian Regional Council of ICAI, including serving as convener and deputy convener for multiple committees and leading East End CP Study Circle. He currently leads as president of Northern India Chartered Accountants Society. His contributions extend nationally with appointments to the ICAI Task Force for Cooperative and NPO sectors and the GST Grievance Redressal Committee. Nationally, he is the General Secretary of the Federation of All India Vyapar Mandal, where as chairman of its GST committee, he actively addressed key GST issues for traders. For his efforts, he is also awarded India's Business Master 2025 award. Extending his leadership into wider community engagement, Mr. Gaur serves as General Secretary of the Indian Center for Art and Culture also. Notably, his thought leadership on tax policies, specifically the concept that penalty cannot be treated as a source of revenue, has been recognized and studied internationally, evaluated via an economic model at Trinity College, USA. So, with this brief introduction of our today's speaker, I welcome you, Gaur sir, for this session and would request you to take over the charge of the session.
Thank you, Sachin
Over
ji.
to you, Gaur.
Thank you, Sachin ji. It's my pleasure that Chairman Sir, Chitle Sir has briefed about the subject and very niche area he has touched upon. So that will be a clearing in a better way when we will be navigating through this subject. And Rohit Sir is not here, the Vice Chairman. I have my sincere thanks to him. Sachin ji, Bhatnagar sir, and all the dignitaries, chartered accountants, seniors and juniors, those who are viewing this webinar. So today we are discussing a subject. Let us. So today we are discussing a subject, solicitation and advertisement within the framework of the Code of Ethics 2019 at the moment. So what is the need why we are navigating through these two clauses of this code, Chartered Accountants Act, class 6 and 7? These are the important things because we have two aspects. How do we pressurize ourselves that we are in the right direction and ethical standards we are following? And ethical standards, to the extent they are relevant, they have to be followed by everyone because of the reason that our profession, this is the backbone of our profession. Unless we follow this, the profession will not get so much of importance as it has already gained. So each and every time we have to follow, we have to evaluate whether we are pursuing these things in a right and proper perspective. So let us start with our deliberation. So let us start with what is the objective of the ICAI? ICAI has evolved with these code of ethics in which these two segments are there: solicitation and advertisement. Solicitation and advertisement. So what is the objective behind ethical conduct governance? The primary role of ICAI to set and enforce the high ethical standards for its members. And this ensures CAs serve the public interest with the professionalism, integrity, and competence. This is one of the core area. And the Chartered Accountant Act 1949, so particularly Part 1 first schedule, list instances of the professional misconduct applicable to chartered accountants. So it's a legal framework that defines what constitutes a breach of professional ethics. The subject matter which we are dealing today is a class 6 and 7. With the first schedule, part 1, class 6 deals with the soliciting clients or professional work, either directly or indirectly. Very important, these words and phrases have been put here, directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, or interview, or by any other means that is relevant. Similarly, class 7 deals with advertising, professional attainment, or services using by designation, expression, visiting cards, wherever you are doing that. So what you can show in your letterhead, visiting cards, what degrees you can write on this. These are the things which we are discussing today. So the purpose of maintaining professional integrity. And integrity, we understand that the 5 fundamental principles The integrity is the one and one, the first one. So for this is the integrity to maintain this integrity. And what is the importance? Why important is the unfair competition? Because if we do not comply with the provisions contained in clause 6 and 7, there is a chances that there is an unfair competition, misleading promotions, and soliciting for personal gains. These are strictly prohibited by our institute. So the objective behind is discouraging self-promotion and client solicitation for credibility. If we keep on doing some promotions without adhering to the standards prescribed by the Code of Ethics, then this will be undercutting, there will be massive advertising, which will hurt the integrity of profession. And ensuring fairness, transparency, and trust. These are the, again, fundamental principles within the fundamental principles, fairness, transparency, and trust. When we offer any services to our client, the public at large, what they feel, they need that you are fair, your perception, your act and deeds are transparent, and they can move. I mean, after everything else, they need that they can trust you. And the trust and confidence of the public at large is our real gain and real asset, which our institute has attained over a period of time. So define clauses 6 and 7. We look at the precise wording. So important thing is how do we, the law, when we interpret law, then there are wordings, comma, full stop, shall, should, shall, these are very important things. So we look at the precise wording and more importantly, the spirit and intent behind these clauses related to the solicitation and advertisement. Identify permitted versus non-permitted, prohibited or non-permitted practices, and understand the consequences of ethical breaches. So primarily what we can do, these are written over there, and what we cannot do, it is also there. And if there is any breach, there are the severe consequences. So before beginning with the clause wise 6 and 7, this we are going to let us see this quote. It is not what we do, but also we do not do, for which we are accountable. The logic behind is this, that there are certain things which are strictly prohibited, and you should know, because your accountability is based on that. What you should not do, you should not do, in any case whatsoever. Now coming to the solicitation. Clause 6. The wordings, let us see, go by the wording. The chartered accountant in practice shall be, you see, in this code of conduct 2019, everywhere should has been replaced with shall. So what does it mean? It means that ipso facto, whatever has been written and the verbatim wise we have to follow as it is. So a chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he solicits clients or professional work, either directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, or interview by any other means. So there are 3-4 words which are very important, either directly or indirectly, and by any other means. So, but there are certain exceptions also where we have some respite, that we can have some kind of a solicitation. So What are those? Any chartered accountant from applying or requesting for inviting, securing professional work from another chartered accountant in practice. So if there is a chartered accountant who is either in the initial stages of his practice or for any other reason seeks some professional work from another chartered accountants, that is permitted. Another thing, a member from responding to tenders, inquiries issued by various users of the professional services or organization from time to time is securing professional work as a consequence. So this is very important because the ICAI has already issued tender guidelines in 2016. We'll come to that. But there are two exceptions that you can solicit with your co-professionals, and if there is any, you can respond to tenders if there are tenders seeking your work, professional work. So the core of the class 6 is prohibition against actively seeking client or professional work. The keyword is actively seeking. This means initiating a contact or undertaking activities with primary intention to obtaining a specific engagement from the potential client. Primarily what we do, we cannot approach a client generally. But if there is something, some communication is there from their side, then of course you have the right to approach him. Otherwise, you cannot approach clients in REM. That means that you cannot approach anybody that you give me work. So by what are the modes? That is also specifically prescribed circulars. What are circulars? Means mass mailing or distributions aimed at attracting clients. So like you cannot have handbills or any mass mailing you can do. Advertisement in the concept of the advertisement has to it is separate in class 7, but in the context of the solicitation, using ads specifically to ask for the work. Personal communication or interview, directly approaching individuals of business. You don't have the existing professional relationship. So with those you don't have any professional relationship, you should not. Or by any other means. I've deciphered these words and phrases, or by any other means. This is a catch-all phrase that indicating the restriction is not limited to listed methods above, but applies to any activity construed as direct or direct solicitation. The intent to prevent CA from pursuing clients in a way that could be seen as undignified. This is about undignified. Or because of that, you will tarnish the image of profession. These are the tender guidelines. I have put here because there is an exception to that general rule. So a member of the institute in practice shall not respond to any tender issued by an organization or user of the professional services in the area of the service which are exclusively reserved for the chartered accountants, such an audit and attestation. Means if some work is exclusively reserved for chartered accountant, then you will not respond to any tenders. Of course, there is some leniency, we will discuss it upon. However, such restriction shall not be applicable where the minimum fee of the assignment is prescribed in the tender document itself. Suppose there is a tender document for professional services, the auditor certification, and no minimum fees has been prescribed, then you should not. Otherwise, if there is a minimum fees prescribed in the tender document, then of course you can do. Prohibited methods, I've already discussed. Circulars, advertisement, direct solicitation, cold calling. I mean, you cannot just make out the calls like we are making take a data from industrial area and you keep on calling everybody that I am providing these services, I'm good enough. So you cannot do that. And personal interviews also. And you cannot, keep on meeting the people. Of course, you do meet your clients, but in general, you cannot. So that is the idea behind that people should approach you on what pretext? Because of your knowledge, your integrity, and the reference, not by any kind of a presentation or interviews that generally one has to take. The exceptions, I told you, bidding for tenders assignments and seeking professional work from a chartered accountant. These are two things we have already discussed. What is ethical versus unethical solicitation? Responding direct inquiries professionally. It is a potential client approaches you with an inquiry. This is important. If a professional client is there, he approaches you, depending upon your qualification, knowingly that you are qualified enough, then of course you can respond to his queries. Accepting tender invitation based on merits. That's the same thing. The unethical solicitation, what are unethical solicitations? Running mass marketing campaigns to attract clients. This is the most unethical method of solicitation. In general, you cannot. And what is more important, that you cannot say that you are an expert or you are better than anybody, any firm of chartered accountants or any chartered accountant, those who are in our fraternity. So this kind of mass mailing contact you cannot. And offering discount services specifically to lure the clients. Undercutting is specifically prohibited in our code of ethics. So in any case, whenever you are meeting anybody, you cannot say that if somebody X is charging X amount, then you will charge a lesser amount, or you will provide some additional benefit to them. Like audit me, I will provide your tax returns or something else. So this kind of a solicitation you cannot do. This offer is not acceptable. So there is one or two case studies. Mr. XYZ chartered accountant create a website. This is the question. I will come to the website guidelines also sometimes later. But putting a photograph on a website, whether it is permitted? Yes, it is permitted. We will pass through the website guidelines, but it is there. So this query was raised and it has been answered. Case 2, responded to the tender. Somebody responded to a tender, which is not specifically reserved for the chartered accountant. Means audit and assurance. It was not for audit and assurance. It was for land revenue records computerization. So it is other area where anybody else can also bid, other than chartered accountants. And there is a earnest deposit, EMD. So the question is, can we do that? Yes, we can do that, because first thing is, it is not limited to chartered accountants practice, number one. Others are also involved, and if there is a EMD, then he can also furnish EMD. Now, our honorable chairman has said that if there is something, here I have my reservation that in many cases, the EMD is very, very high, and our professionals are unable to do that. And they do not have, despite having their professional capacity, they do not indulge into that. So if there is something can be done, that EMD should be very, very small, reasonably small, I would say. If they are reasonably small, this should be there. So this is my request from the ESP. This is also a case securing a work, requesting him if from a chartered accountant practice who wrote 2 letters to their co-professionals. So that they can do, that there is no issue. Securing professional work clause 6, first schedule, act, what is provided that nothing here in content shall be construed. So this is carved out of an exemption, exception. So ethical challenges and client solicitation. Now, there, despite everything, we have got enough expertise, but quite often we are not exposed. Exposed means we are not seriously visible. So balancing visibility and ethical boundaries. Here is a very tactical assessment of a chartered accountant or a professional, that you have to make visibility. How you have to make that? You have to look at from the point of view of professionalism. But in any case, you should not breach the ethical boundaries. Is whatever has been specifically restricted, you cannot do. You have to frame your domain within the permitted areas. Avoid aggressive marketing while remaining competitive. Now, again, there are 2 things. You have to remain competitive and visible also, but at the same time, you cannot do the aggressive marketing. Now, suppose for some reason you are a very good professional in a particular area, in a particular location. So it does not mean that you keep on telling that I'm one of the best, I'm doing this such kind of a work. I have volume, I have success, but you cannot market it aggressively. Let the people assess your competence, ensuring professional integrity in the business development. Again, integrity is the paramount to be maintained. So integrity has to be maintained in any case. If there is a breach of it, then certainly the action is bound to take place. So permitted, what are the next? Let us come to this conclusion that what are the permitted ways to obtain work ethically, respond to direct inquiries professionally, apply for tenders issued by organization, and seeking work from another source. These are the 3 core areas, 3 core ways through which you can solicit professional work. Additionally, no, these are something written things, but what we can do as a professional, additionally building your reputation through quality work, leading to referrals. I mean, if you're doing quality work, the referrals are bound to come. Writing articles, speaking at seminars, content focused and not the sales pitch, and having a simple factual website are generally acceptable ways to become known. I mean, just with all these things, these are some ways which we have worked out that if we do, certainly the people come across to. I mean, this is again a case study. The state government issues a public tender for statutory audit services for several public sector undertaking. Action by CA firm. A CA firm learns about this tender through official gazette or government procurement portals. They carefully review it, tender document which specifies the scope of work, and the firm prepares a detailed proposal factually and their financial bid, and they submit their bid through the official channel. Now here in the matter of tender, my submission and my suggestion is that whenever our members are responding to a tender, so they have to work out specifically that the scope of the work given in that document, tender document, and work out categorically what resources you will deploy into it, what is the time frame within which you can comply with the requirement, and what is the cost which you have to incur. And with this working note, you have to quote the tender fee. I mean, so this document is very, very precisely important, because once you go for a peer review, and in peer review sample selection, tender case is inevitable. And if you don't have proper documentation, then there will be an issue. So whatever amount you quote, you should work out how you have arrived at those figures within the framework of the scope of the work given in the tender document. So that is important. That is why I have made it. So this is a nutshell. There are two: ethical compliance, transparency, compliance with the ICAI rules, and they are general in the nature. The firm is not actively seeking both. This is important. And focus on merit. The firms aim to win the tender based on the merit of their proposal and their competitive fair pricing, not through any back channel influence or aggressive marketing. Beyond just avoiding prohibited acts, what are the best practices for ethically acquiring and engaging the client? So maintain transparency in the client acquisition and engagement, and provide truthful and factual information when it is required. This is important, because sometimes what happens, you make exaggerated claims, and after getting the work, you do not comply with, or you fit within the framework law. So this goes against the profession, against you as well as against the profession. I have used the word exaggerated claims. This is the phrase. And many a times it will be used in these sections, because exaggerated claims means that what you are pretending something, but you are not. So please be safe, play safe, and give the only factual details whenever they are asked or on your website. Uphold high ethical standards in all professional interactions. Whenever you are interacting with a client or any professionals intersect, then you have to maintain all those standards which are essentially required. So best practices on this: avoid direct unsolicited approaches, uphold professional dignity in all communications, utilize ethical channels to work, tender, reputation, referrals, networking. Networking is also one of the very important methodology through which you can make yourself visible amongst the clienteles, and respond to the inquiry by pull method, not by push method. What is pull method? Your data is in the repository somewhere. If somebody wants, he is going and is searching, your name will appear and he will contact you. What is push method? Push method is that you are pushing to the client that I'm there. So that should not be the case. There is a case of LinkedIn profile. So in the LinkedIn profile, if you maintain something, then it is ethically permitted. Publishing a tender response, which is we've already discussed. What is compliant conditionally? The work was obtained ethically, sharing this information factually at some stage. At the latter stage, if you have to come across, then you can refer it, your tender work. Stay within the ICAI ethical boundaries, avoid misleading communication, aggressive self-promotion, maintain professionalism, and permitted work opportunities. You know what is going to happen in future? At present, what is not, I've mentioned this slide for a few, looking into the future, but whatever we are marketing at aptitude or whatever we are writing somewhere, everything will be fetched by some digital methodology, whether it is AI or other digital mechanism. So there are chances that if you have done something which is against the ethics, it may come across. At present, what can be there? Either there's somebody is making complaint, but at some point of time, there may be possibility that the entire data is fetched, and you or some of us may appear that they have exceeded the boundaries. So please be careful of that. So now coming to class 7. Class 7 is the advertisement. I mean, this solicitation and advertisement, they are sometimes overlapping in the nature. But that is why whenever we are talking about the solicitation advertisement, we are talking together 6 and 7. What does it say? The advertisements include any public promotion or professional services by the chartered accountant. Class 7, what does it say? He will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he advertises his professional attainments or services or use any designation, expression other than that of chartered accountant or professional documents. In the professional document, visiting cards, letterheads, signboards, unless be a degree of government or anything. So, or anything recognized by the council. I mean, they have put up the restriction upon you that whatever letterhead, visiting card, and everything you have, there has to be a streamlined similarity. And you cannot appear, your document, your visiting card or letterhead cannot look like a separate person. You are a chartered accountant, then you have a same common logo that will come here, and you can use the degrees which are, I mean, either academic degrees, UGC degrees, or any other degrees which are recognized by the council. Provided nothing in contention, these are the exceptions. If there is some listing somewhere, so there you can, if it is approved by the council, so there you can do, and further proviso allowing the website responding to tenders and other specific guidelines. So these are the things else you can. There is one more thing I will come upon, that is CA Connect portal, where opportunities have. This Ethical Standard Board has come out with a portal where you can list, but we will come a little later. ICA rules on advertisements, factual announcements. CA can advertise change like, suppose there is some factual things happen, that advertisement is permissible. What is this? Opening a new office or changing an address. Suppose you are opening a new office in addition to what you have, or you are a first timer going to open your office. In that case, you can give an advertisement but for a limited time. Once the office is open, it is not supposed to be repeated. It will precede the opening of the office date. The changes in the partnership, yes, admission, retirement, death, whatever it is, that can also be given. And change in the firm's name, suppose there is a change in the firm's name, that also you can do. These announcements should be factual, brief, dignified, usually published in the newspaper or professional journals for a limited period as per guidelines. So this is for the limited period. You cannot you cannot succeed the date of opening the office premises or similar other. Recruitment advertisement. Yes. If you're recruiting your staff, chartered accountants, non-chartered accountants, articles, then you can use of this. And ICI journals, permitted directories, wherever it is, these are permitted. ICI journal means you can give the advertisement. Prohibited forms of advertisement, what are the prohibited forms? Misleading promotions means claim like best CA in India, #1 tax consultant, or guaranteed success. Such kind of catchword you should not use. No one should use anywhere. Paid endorsement and testimonials. This is also a very important. Sometimes people give their names and testimonials of your client. That is not required anywhere unless it is required by some person where some oddity where we have to disclose the details. Otherwise, we should not give any testimonials. Discount-based promotions. Again, the same thing I told you. You cannot say that, look, give me this audit, I will do their non-working company as minimum most or by and large free. We will file the returns without any remuneration. This kind of promotions we should not. And comparative advertising. What is comparative advertising? Means somebody is there, somebody is charging some fees, or somebody is working qualification, then you say I'm better than this and will charge less than that. That you cannot do. These are the restricted kind of a thing. There is a strict prohibition. There can be a write-up. In advertisement, there has to be a write-up job. Whenever you are giving an advertisement, we have to follow these norms because these norms are the ICI norms. First, shall be honest and truthful. Means whatever we are giving, it is a factual situation. Honestly, we are giving. There is no deviation in the material which we are giving. There should be no exaggerated claims. I told you that this phrase is to be used many times when we delve into the section 6, 7, or anywhere else in the Code of Ethics. What does it mean? It means you have to specifically tell that I am this so and so, these are my credentials, which are vouched, which could be vouched or verifiable. You cannot, even if you have a better quality or something you have achieved, but certainly you cannot say that I am also this knowledge, but that is not supported by documentary evidence. So even if it is there, you should restrict yourself not to expose that. The write-up should not be in the nature that it brings profession into disrepute. This is also very important. The entire Code of Ethics for all chartered accountants, it says that act and deeds of a chartered accountant should not bring profession into disrepute, otherwise they will be held guilty of professional misconduct. And what is disrepute? Means if your action is subjected to scrutiny by any third party or any regulator or any other agency, and they find that you have committed wrong and there is a possibility of conviction. So this kind of your work, your act and deeds will bring the profession into disrepute. So you should not do it. And the write-up should not contain testimonials, endorsement concerning members' name, clients, past and present, or fees charged. Means you cannot refer in your advertisement, you cannot refer any kind of endorsement or the name of client or the fees charged. I mean, these things cannot be drawn in the public domain through an advertisement. It must not be violative of any provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act. Overall, what is the umbrella? Umbrella is that whatever you do, you have done the best things, yet you have to check whether it is within the umbrella prescribed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India under the Chartered Accountant Act and Code of Ethics 2019. So each and every action of yours in relation to the advertisement has to be within the framework of the Chartered Accountants Act and Code of Ethics. Again, the font size, they were very precisely written that the font size should not exceed 40. 14. So font size should not be more than 14. The write-up should not contain any information about the achievement awards. Now, listen, achievement and award you should not write, but there is an exception that awards given by the central or state government or regulatory bodies that can be given in your letter or any other position held and accreditation granted by any organization. Means except central government, state government and regulatory bodies. If you have received any honor from them, yes, you can write. Else, you have to restrict upon those honors. You have to put it with yourself. Monogram of any kind or use of any kind of catchword is not permissible. Monogram means any other monogram than Chartered Accountants CA logo you cannot use. Your monogram you cannot use. Even institute's monogram you cannot use. So only the specific CA logo with the white background that will come across, that you can do. And the catchword means expert, GST expert, international taxation expert, or any kind of things, catchword. You cannot. Our chartered accountant since 1960 cannot write. So these are the catchwords are not permissible. Wherever you write membership number and FRN is mandatory to be mentioned in the write-up. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India may issue directives for removal or withdrawal of whole write-up. As I told you, if the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India comes to know that this write-up is against the Code of Ethics, they can withdraw. Apparently, what is happening at the moment, they can do it once they come to know through some complaints. But as I discussed earlier, the technology and this AI, etc., digitalization, they are bringing things very closer to each other. So sometimes in future, there might be a possibility that any advertisement which is not within the framework of law, that will automatically come to the notice of the ICI, and then there will be a serious problem. Then again, there is teaching and coaching activities. They are strictly prohibited. With effect from 2016, 17, there is a bar on advertisement for coaching. Of course, there is one possibility, then you can have an educational video which may be uploaded by the members. However, though no reference of the mail, the CA firm where he is a partner of. So they are teaching, those who they are teaching, they are not permitted that I am a teacher. But if on a subject, they have made a video, then video can be uploaded. And the video, but you cannot make a reference of your firm. That's it. movie and TV credits. Members' firm name allowed in movie ticket, provided not mentioned differently. What is happening? Sometimes you are appearing in TV. There are maybe you may be with other 2-3 persons. So what you have to say, if specifically asked that what you are doing, I'm a chartered accountant, where or something, some question is there in the TV and movie credits, then you will say that I'm practicing a chartered accountant as I'm on a government associates. Beyond that, I cannot say that my firm is established in that area. My core of practice is this. We cannot say. We cannot say. So sharing firm's details and interview. I have already told you that the factual nature you can tell that I am a partner in this. Nothing more than that. Similarly, authorship of books. Articles and presentations also include a commentary, professional attainment prohibited. However, use of prefix CA on the name or firm name permitted. So if there is if you are author, no specialization, there's a CA so there are chances that you have attained something. Say, we have achieved 25 years, 50 years, and now, of course, 1949, so 75 years also. So on such kind of silver jubilee, golden jubilee, diamond, platinum jubilee association, they can publish in their newspaper. Such kind of permission is also given. There is also one possibility that you can give some kind of a small advertisement in your CPE study circles with, of course, approval with the CPA directorate. Now, coming to the next thing is the size illumination of the signboard. Earlier, there was a big issue. What should be the size of the board? In your office, 1.5 feet, 1 feet by 2 feet, and something. These were the restrictions earlier. So, if we compare these two codes, 2009 and 2019, with regard to the size of the signboard for the office that a member can put up, it's a matter with which the membership should exercise their own discretion and good taste. Use of glow sign, neon sign on the large size board as it is used by the traders or shopkeeper would not be proper. This was said in 2009 code. Earlier, it was more stringent. It became liberal. And now, in 2019 code, what has been further improved while keeping in mind the appropriate visibility and illumination of signboard. Means, what two things are there? Appropriate visibility and illumination. Means, LED, there could be LED because the illumination comes in from there. So that can be there. And the size should be reasonable. That you have to establish from your side. That appropriate visibility and illumination of the sign. So there is some liberalization on this part. Sharing professional content. Sometimes some content is please. LinkedIn is a social website, a social networking area. So CAs are encouraged to share knowledge. This can include writing articles on technical subject, commenting on regulatory changes, or sharing insight from their professional experience. So sometimes what happens, these are the things people write blogs, articles, So they put in the professional blogs or LinkedIn profiles. However, this content should be informative and educational, not promotional. Again, the restrictive covenant is what? It should not be promotional. That let somebody, it should reach which forces them to come to me. No, it is restricted to informative and educational. Means there is a topic. Suppose something new comes, MSN, something about MSN. So somebody is writing about and delving into details. So that is permitted. We are experts, and there should not be any kind of guarantee or something that if the case is there, and we will save it, or your tax liability will not be there if we represent it. If this kind of a situation is there, then certainly it is against the ethical standards and it will attract professional misconduct. Now, digital and social media advertisement guidelines. What is website guidelines? So what are the key principles? What are the information which should be contained in the website? A chartered accountant firm can have its own website. A CA firm's website is permissible but must adhere to strict guidelines. It should act like an online information brochure. Please note, your website should be a kind of online brochure. Firms, what content it should have? Firm's name, logo. And how is the logo? Logo guideline is this, that it should be CA logo in the white background. Whatever the background of your website is, it has to be in a white background in 3-color tick. This has to be uniform in all the website of the chartered accountants. Contact details, address, phone, email, specific. These 3 things you can put up. Names of the partners, their qualifications, ICI membership number, other recognized degrees. So what are other recognized degrees? UGC, all the degrees from UGC. And ICI degree. ICI means diploma is there in addition to that. Other than CA, you can write DISA. Then you have to put ICI, DISA ICI. Year of establishment. Details of service offered. This is a factual description. So here, please be careful. The things which have not been done by you or for which you are not maintaining, even if you may not have received that kind of assignment, but your organization, your firm is fully capable of rendering those services. Those you should write here. Details of services offered, information about the recruitment. I mean, how do you recruit the people in your firm? No self-promoting market, no promotional marketing. The website cannot include client testimonials or endorsements. Name of the clients should not be there. They can be disclosed where? Unless required for disclosure, like certain tender documents and with client permission. Handle very careful, because those you cannot put in your website. Wherever required, you can give. Laudatory remark about the firms, leading firms, etc. You cannot write. Comparison with other firms, you can write. Cannot any information that is not verifiable or misleading. I told you earlier, if you have attained something, but you do not have a collateral evidence, then you should not write. The website should be maintained in a professional and dignified manner, ensuring again pull and push. So it should be pull, because if somebody wants, they can go to your website and see your parameters, and then he can approach. And once they approach, certainly, then you can offer everything to them. Social media. This LinkedIn, I've already told you. Twitter, professional blogs, etc. This we have already discussed. CA websites, factual versus promotional. A CA website should be a repository of factual information. As I told you, it's a catalog. Information is there. Think of an extended interactive visiting card. It is like an interactive visiting card. Avoid language that persuasive rather than informative. Claims of specialization that cannot be substantiated through recognized ICI qualification, which cannot, I'm repeating again, that what is not verifiable, you should not write. Adherence across the platform. The ethical standards of ICI are the platform agnostic. Is whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, blog, or any professional forum, the principle of truthfulness, dignity, and avoidance of solicitation and self-laudatory advertisement will apply. Members should be mindful of their posts, shares, and even the comments to ensure that they remain within the ethical boundaries. That is important. Now, another advertisement forum has been created by ESP, Ethical Standard Boards of ICI. Ethical Standard Board of ICI is launched and operationalized the CA Connect portal. It is a search engine portal for CA firms, individual CA practitioners on the platform of the ICI. The objective of this portal is to provide an effective platform for listing. Please note, what is this? I mean, this is a platform where an individual chartered accountant or a firm of chartered accountant, both can register themselves. The objective, what was the objective of the CA Connect portal? That a person is registered on the portal as a chartered accountant. Since this portal has been created by ICI, so there is no restriction. Whatever questions have been asked, you will put it. The area boundary is there. So if some user wants to contact a chartered accountant for a specific purpose in a particular domain, in a particular geographical area, she can search and he will reach to some persons of this portal. The prospective clients can search the services offered by the firm's member based on their area of expertise under one roof, irrespective of their geographical locations. So this is one thing, because class 6 and 7 put a lot of restriction on a chartered accountant. At the same time, Ethical Standard Board of ICI has come out with a platform where you can register yourself. And what was earlier written in class 6 and 7, that whatever has been approved by the Council of ICI, there you can register. So this is the portal of ICI, here you can register, and it's a search engine. So if somebody wants, he can have access to you for his work in your area. Suppose somebody is in Tamil Nadu, or even remote in Tamil Nadu, and he wants to get his work done there. So what he will do, he will go to this website, he will put a specific work, a specific geographic area, and he will find some 5, 10, 12, 15, 20 chartered accountants over there who can do, then it is his jurisdiction that he will select any one or two out of them. So this is the situation. So it's a CA Connect portal of the institute is an indigenous system for listing of the CA firms on the platform of the institute. The objective of this portal to provide effective platform for listing due to limitation on such listing through online aggregators. It is clear that you cannot go for your listing in the online platforms. And at the same time, it has been felt by the ICI that there is a requirement. Of course, there is a requirement that your visibility has to be there. So they themselves have come out with a platform where you register yourself and you will be visible to the people even across the globe, I would say. Therefore, CA Connect portal shall provide the essential bridge between the client and the chartered accountants. And this portal is in addition to the existing mode of listing, which will continue to be functional. It is additional thing which has been provided by the ICI. There is some case study. Government announces significant changes in GST return filing. This is a little, there are two ways, two opinions, but somebody, there is a ethical ESP guidelines also, where it has been written, if some chartered accountant firm saying that we want to come for the specific dissemination of the GST, when GST was launched, this query was raised. So what advice has been given that if you are providing this information to your clients, it is workable, but if you are giving this to general public, then it is not acceptable. Here it is a little difference. Similarly, it was also suggested that if two or more chartered accountants, firms individually or firms, together disseminating information about GST, then their group of clients can join them. So this is the position, knowledge sharing. Unethical and non-compliant advertisements. XYZ associate wants to attract more tax advisory clients. Action of CFO. They place an ad online in non-permitted publications. So again, once you cross the boundary, again you have done wrong thing and liable to be punished. So what is the best tax consultant you cannot write? These are the catchwords. Guaranteed or lower tax liability you cannot. So this kind of advertising, it is self-promotional, competitive in implication, and diminishes the dignities of the profession. So this is a case where you have crossed the boundaries of the code of ethics. Importance of compliance for credibility. Why it is important? Because your credibility has to be tested each and every time. You see what is happening these days. Many things are going wrong, but once a chartered accountant commits a mistake, then the newspaper you find a chartered accountant has committed this mistake or things. So a chartered accountant word has a very, very strong meaning. Its credibility is very, very high. So even if 99%, if you do 1% wrong, even then you will be taken to the task. So the credibility is very important. So that is why these two examples have been taken. Emphasis on honesty. Misleading statement erode public trust. Public trust or public interest. There is one word is public interest. Not in 6 and 7, but in Code of Ethics, they have prescribed. public interest and public interest entities. What is public interest? Public interest means where the public is interested. Interested means not listed only. Wherever some information is sought from your work by public at large, then that is public interest. And what in the Code of Ethics 2019 has been decided, have been placed, that public interest entities. And what are the public interest entities? Public interest entity is every listed company is a public interest entities. And they have, it is still within the domain that they will define some other entities to be of public interest. But for clarification, they have made that all the banks and insurance company are public interest entities. So when you are working, the public interest is very, very important. And on the public interest, then there's a public trust. If then you are working in their interest, they will have a trust on you. Accurate representation of qualification and experience. When stating qualification, only use degrees from recognized universities or membership of recognized professional bodies, including ICIs. Do not invert or embellish titles. You cannot. All these things we have already discussed. Stick to the factual details. What should you include? Your name, firm name, ICI membership, all those things which are for the public website domain. These are all the relevant things which you should tell. And ensure it is verifiable. I've told many times that whatever you write, it should be verifiable. Avoid exaggerated claims and superlatives. Exaggerated claims already discussed. What are superlatives? Best or degree, good, better, best. So top, all these things, superlative degree you should not use. No improper comparison or discount driven. So best practices, what are the best practices for ethical advertising and accounting? Share educational content rather than promotional material. What are these? Articles, insight, or regulatory changes. I mean, you can be visible if you write articles, deep insights, regulatory changes, because in the taxation, in other laws, accountancy, FEMA, or whatever, wherever you have interest, you keep on updating people for each and every changes. Maintain professionalism in advertisement, no misleading or items, dignified presentation. Ensure compliances with ICI Code of Ethics in all forms of communication. This is what is very important, because here I say this is the boundary, and this boundary you cannot cross. If we cross this boundary, then we are really deviating from our professional standards, and we are caught into the net of the class 6 and 7. This already discussed point. Role of ICI. What is the role then? Whatever we have, chartered accountant practice has done, then its roles of the review role of the ICI comes in. The review of the advertisement for compliance. While ICI may not proactively screen every CS website or communication, it does not act when a non-compliance comes to its notice. I told you, it cannot be done by ICI unless it is brought to the notice of the ICI. either through a complaint or for any other means. The council's committee have authority to review material and determine if they are adhered to code of ethics and specific guidelines on advertisement. This is the power of ICAI. Investigation on the complaints against misleading ads. And if there is a complaint, then this will be dealt with by the disciplinary mechanism. Periodic updates to advertising regulations. The ICAI understands that the professional and business environment evolves, especially with the advancement in technology and communication. Therefore, the council periodically reviews the updates, its guidelines, advising, and everything. And in the initial remarks, Chitli sir has already said that they keep on reviewing these things. And as and when it is required, they will come to the rescue of our profession, that these are the things which have a bigger restrictive covenant. And if they have a bigger restrictive covenant, then the profession will not be able to take head on with other people and other professionals. So with that, they keep on evaluating every time. And if you see, this time also, earlier they have a ethical standard board has done a lot of exercise for reviewing this code, and now it is again in the process. So this is a continuous process that ESPs keep on doing these things. ICAI journal or approved directory listing. This I've told, in general or approved directories to whatever has been approved by the council, there you can. And one additional thing, CA Connect portal, I have already discussed. Announcement of change of address, this I've already discussed. So that informative webinars, knowledge sharing. Here, this is a case study that a chartered accountant, CA Priya Mehta, hosts a free webinars on navigating complexity of MSME. Now, if it is for chartered accountants, it is good. But if it is for public at large, and then there is a restrictive covenant again. If this is a material only, then there is no bond. But if there is something more than the material and content, then this will cross the boundary. So what are the key takeaways? Uphold transparency and accuracy. I mean, what has class 6 and 7 say? That whatever precise you have, whatever in your pocket, if you have 3,000 bucks, you write 3,000 bucks, 3,700 bucks, yeah, 3,770. You have to write this anything. That is where it works. This is non-negotiable. That is what I wanted to write. Avoid exaggerated claims that many times I have said, but if you read the whole volume of the Code of Ethics, this exaggerated claim has been written many times. Adhere to ICAI rules and essential for ethical compliance. I mean, please, because this Code of Ethics is a bigger. You should read it. It is important at least, because if you see, it is a council guideline. Code of Ethics Volume 1 is a council guideline. And if anything is a council guideline, it has to be followed mandatorily. Otherwise, it will be clause 1 or 2 second schedule. It will be professional misconduct. So whatever it is written in the class volume 1 Code of Ethics, please take care of that. Future trends in ethical advertisement. So I've already talked about AI assisted and digital transparency. global convergence towards ethical advertising standards. This is important. At this point of time, we are discussing this aspect because sooner or later, the advertising concept will have to be merged. Otherwise, if we are performing our work across the globe or within the, because it is not that if they are coming to the our our geographical boundaries and we are going out, so there has to be some compatibility, that this should not be there, that we are more restrictive than others. So sooner or later, they have to be brought into the consonance with each other. Can I see a list and service online? I've already discussed. Paid ads, no. No CA can run a paid ads. You are not permitted to give any paid ad that I'm a chartered accountant or that you cannot do that. But restriction, well, those things I've already discussed, that for staff, for change in the place or advertisement for partner change, etc. Those you can do. Our professional directly listing allowed. Yes, those permitted by ICI. What we do finally, prioritize factual, transparent representations, steer clear of misleading marketing tactics, and champion ethical professionalism in communications. These are two things which you do. Third, middle things, steer clear of misleading marketing tactics. You have to keep away. So the total story of these two sections is what? Clause 6, solicitation. The core intent of Clause 6 is to prevent chartered accountants from actively and directly soliciting client or professional work through methods that are considered unfair, undignified, or overly aggressive. This is something in a different wordings have brought it, that consider unfair, undignified, and overly aggressive. This means avoiding practices like cold calling, sending unsolicited mass promotional materials, or directly approaching potential clients without prior invitation or formal process like tender. The emphasis on the obtaining work through reputations, referrals, and responses to legitimate inquiries or tenders. This is the crux of solicitation. And advertisement, Clause 7 governs how CA can present their professional attainment and services to the public. It significantly restricts over advertising. Permissible advertisements are largely limited to the factual communications, such as compliant website, detailing services and qualifications, announcement of the firm changes, or listing in approved directories. All such communication must be truthful, verifiable, non-laudatory, non-comparative, and uphold the dignity of the profession. Both clauses work in tandem to ensure that the business development with the CA profession is conducted ethically, preserving the integrity and public trust. So this is what these two sections really want. This is a section 6, 7, clause 6 and 7. That language is little technical, and this is what we have written. It is probably a little more elucidative. This is all. These all things have been discussed. Consequences. No, this with this clause, two clauses. What they say: the person shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. So if you cross those boundaries, what will happen? Complaints or instances of misconduct are reviewed by ICI, either through monitoring member complaints or public reports. If prima facie case is found, the matter is referred to the director discipline, and then all those process will go. The member is given fair opportunity to respond and represent themselves. Possible penalties: fines, suspension, removal from the membership. Broader consequences क्या होंगे? I mean, whatever will happen with the member, but what will finally come to that is the loss of reputation and career impact. These two things will deeply hit a person just for not taking care of while this making solicitation or advertisement. The ICI holds its member to the high ethical standards. Misconduct in advertising or solicitation is not just a rule violation, it's a direct attack on the trust of profession is built upon. The consequences, fines, suspensions, and even permanent removal reflect the seriousness with which such breaches are treated. So my humble submission is that whenever you go for, you take these things for advertisement and solicitation, please check that they are within the boundaries of the code of ethics, and whatever permitted, you should do 99% whatever is permitted. Leave 1% at least, that you should understand that at least we are well within the boundary. We are not. Just don't try to do 100 and 101%, because that will take care, and that will take you to serious consequences. This is a simple, which we have already discussed, the country voice. India is probably the most stringent compliant. Here, there are things, they are banned in UK. They are moderately liberal, and then ICPA USA, they have some more liberal, and Australia is by and large in between. There are some FAQs. Sachin sir will tell me what time we will have.
Sir,
Sachin?
actually, we have received some queries.
Yeah.
So whenever you are done, we can take those queries one by one.
So 15 minutes I will keep for the queries.
Okay, no problem, sir.
15 or 10 minutes. Let me, these are FAQs only, because the topic already by and large covered.
Yes, yes.
So you please let me know.
Yeah.
So there is FAQs. This is FAQs taken from the Ethical Standard Board. Whether it is permissible for chartered accountants in practice to mention work like quality, knowledge, transparency, integrity, etc. on the website, letterhead, visiting card. The mention of catchword is not permitted, please note. So this you cannot. Can a member in practice firm of chartered accountant print his vision and mission, his value behind the visiting cards? Certainly not. If a member is a partner in more than one firm, is it permissible to the print name of all the firms on the visiting card? Yes. Can a member in practice mention services such as filing of income tax return, GST returns? No, certainly not. It is making a claim. Whether a member in practice firm, chartered accountant, is permitted to use logo on letterhead, stationery. No other logo, as I told you, only a CA logo with white background. Whether an office of chartered accountant is permitted to go ISO certification. Yes, you can go for ISO certification, but you cannot write it anywhere. If a member in practice has clearly cleared any certificate course of ICI, certificate course in AS, etc., is permitted to print such qualification? No, except DISA ICI or any other. Whenever it is a diploma, there is a distinction between the diploma and certification course. If it is a diploma, then you can. Otherwise, if it is a certification course, not. Whether a member in practice can print their photographs on their visiting cards? No. Can a member in practice print QR code on his visiting card, facilitating easy access to the information? Yes. Which designation can be mentioned by the member in practice impaneled in insolvency professional on visiting card, letterhead, and other communication? Only insolvency professional you can write. You cannot write IPA or ATA. Only insolvency professional you can write. Is it permissible to mention the name of CA firms in the credit of movie displayed as thanks to the name of CA firm? Yes. Whether member in practice can advertise their services on a social networking area? Yes, wherever it is permitted by the ICI guidelines. Whether member in practice can list themselves with an online application based service provider aggregator? Certainly not. Whether a member in practice or a firm may give link of website on a social networking site? Yes. Suppose you have your website and there is a hyperlink for a web page, you can refer to another website. Whether a messaging application can be used by a member in practice to send messages? Certainly not. Whether a write-up in advertisement may contain any information about the achievement or award given to a member? To the extent it is restricted. If it is central government, state government, regulatory bodies, I have already discussed. Whether member in practice is permitted to respond announcement for empanelment for allotment of audit work? Yes, it can do. Can a CA in practice solicit professional work by making roving inquiry? Roving and making inquiries are strictly prohibited. Can a CA in practice putting their firm name, address, and contact details on greeting cards or invitation through WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook? The designation chartered accountant as well as the firm name may be used, but only for those for his close relatives and friends, clients, relatives, and friends. Whether a sponsorship or prize can be instituted in the name of chartered accountants of the firm? Chartered accountant, yes. Can a chartered accountant firm give advertisement in relation to silver, diamond, or platinum jubilee? Yes. Already discussed. Whether a chartered accountant practice can give a public interviews and also whether he can furnish details about himself or his firm, such as interviews? Yes. Whether a member can appear on television, films, internet, and broadcast in the radio or give a lecture at that forum? Yes. The only restriction is that he cannot give anything distinct from the other members or other people are there. Whether website of any chartered accountant can provide link to the website? Yes. Can a chartered accountant in practice firm, chartered accountant post particulars of himself in a website? Yes. Whether a chartered accountant practice can use expression like income tax? No. Income tax consultant, cost consultant? No, nothing. Yes, permissible. Can a chartered accountant in practice also practice as advocate? Here the situation is little different. It is written that yes, a chartered accountant can be an advocate, yes, provided they accept as a chartered accountant in their practice. Once you are a member of our profession, the Bar Council of India does not accept you to become an advocate. But for any reason, if you are advocate and chartered accountant also, then only at a given point of time you can either CA or an advocate. But none of the chartered accountant having CA practice has been approved as an advocate by Bar Council of India. Whether a chartered accountant practice can be used designation of corporate lawyer? No. Can a chartered accountant practice firm can give advertisement and press? No. Whether member of the institute can use common logo? Yes. See only CA logo. Whether member can put CA logo on his website on the same background color as the website? No. The website logo, it is in the white background only. Can a chartered accountant practice use fix a monogram of the institute? No. Whether member in practice of the chartered accountant can upload videos internet? Yes, he can. But the firm name should not be there. Whether member in practice of the firm chartered accountant can have YouTube channel? Yes. Firm is not allowed. Only member can. Whether a firm in the practice or firm may give link of the website on a social networking website? Yes. So these are the common things. It is permitted for member to practice a mentioned position of the promoted director. And these are some other things. Let me see if I'm messaging application now. Sachin sir, we have completed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your detailed deliberation on clause 6 and clause 7 and taking all the participants to the various provisions of both these clauses into detailed discussion of this. Before a vote of thanks, there are a few queries which I would like to put forth to you, which are raised by the participants over here. So the first query is, what precautions are to be taken by a chartered accountant while posting professional content on YouTube channel so not to violate the regulations of advertisement?
As far as the YouTube channel, the only thing is a chartered accountant can open a YouTube channel. A firm name should not be there, first thing. And second thing is that the content should be only informative, some legal changes or whatever. It is academic only. It should not be any professional in nature.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir. Next query is, what are the guidelines to practicing CA firms on advertisement and solicitation issued by the ICAI? I think you have already deliberated in detail about this, but if you could just
much
brief
detailed
up once
discussion has
again.
been done. So my humble submission is, whatever restrictive covenants are there, one should not touch upon. Within that you can do. So all restrictive covenant I have already discussed, because when you cannot have any executive claim, your firm is giving services. You can first go for a website, create a good website, list out all your working pattern, whatever you are doing. And I have already told you, if you are capable of doing something which you are not at present doing, you can also list that. But aggressive marketing or expertise or anything you should not.
Okay, yeah. So next query is, if a CA intimates through newsfeed in Facebook that he has been appointed as an independent director in a company, will it fall under advertisement and solicitation?
You see, to that extent, if he is not writing a chartered accountant or something of his retail, is the only CA so and so has been appointed as a director of the company, it doesn't cross the boundaries.
Okay, yeah.
But more than
Many
that,
times,
He's a partner in this firm on this, then it crosses the boundary.
Right. So many times we see that chartered accountants do receive cold call from various agencies like Just Dial. So can a chartered accountant register on Just Dial?
Again, please repeat this query. Kindly repeat.
Can a chartered accountant register on Just Dial?
Huh?
Just Dial is a service where
No,
generally people
chartered
can raise.
accountant, to the extent, if it is only a chartered accountant and the description is there, then there will be a problem. That is why he should avoid.
Okay.
Because if he's writing, if he's giving only that information that he is practicing in this area, it is okay. But the moment he's practicing in a specific domain and his expertise is there, then that will create a problem. My humble submission is Just Dial is not a good platform for chartered accountants. I mean, this will create more hassle than giving a remuneration better than that.
Right. Sir, next query is, Mr. B is a retired employee. He has associated with CA in practice. Mr. B gets work from bank on basis of CA degree. Both Mr. B and CA in practice gets remunerated. Then Mr. B pays salary to the practicing CA. Is this allowed, and can both of them get into a formal partnership?
Sir, Mr. B cannot give a practice salary to the practicing chartered accountant. That is not permitted at all. Because he is the practicing chartered accountant. If he receives salary, means he is not fully employed. He is not fully working for the profession. He is holding CP. Once you are holding CP, you cannot be employed anywhere.
Okay. Yes, sir. Next query is, can I publish advertisement in print media about the services I provide?
Certainly not, sir.
Yeah, you have already addressed that. And the last query is, can I apply to e-tender for professional services of chartered accountant?
If there is a e-tender, discussed, there is already exception to that. That if it is for chartered accountant only, and it is coming through some EE portal or somewhere, he can very well do it. But there has to be some minimum fees criteria. And that is nowadays they are putting the minimum fees criteria over there.
Right. Okay, sir. Thank you. So thank you, sir, for addressing all the queries of the participants. Now I would like to request Ashish Ji Bhatnagar to give a vote of thanks for the session. Over to you, Ashish Ji.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. I sincerely thank CA R.K. Godse for the highly informative and interesting session on advertisement and solicitation. Godse is a special invitee with the Ethical Standard Board and has been associated earlier also with the board. I thank CA Sachin Minyarji, also the chairman of Pune branch of WRC of ICI, for moderating the session so well. I thank chairman of Ethical Standard Board and also the vice chairman in absentia. I thank all the members for watching the webinar. We have series of webinars on contemporary ethical issues in the coming weeks. Please keep watching. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, Sachin Ji. Thank you, Ashish Ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.